What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. Today, guys, we're back with a new update. It says new Israeli strikes on Gaza as troops mass on the border. So this is really serious. Like Israel have mass on it, and let's see how it turns out, guys. I just want to watch this video with you guys. I want to keep you guys updated. It says they came to execute mission. So let's see what's really happening around the world, guys.
We start in Israel and Gaza, where there have been another night of missile launches and air raids across the border, while the prospect of an Israeli ground invasion appears to be drawing closer. Here are the very latest developments for you. Israel says that more than 1,200 Israelis are now known to have been killed since Hamas launched attacks on Saturday.
People.
Palestinian sources say that more than 950 people have been killed by Israel's bombardment of Gaza, where entire neighbourhoods have been flattened. Israel has sealed all crossings into Gaza, and the only crossing from Gaza into Egypt at Rafah has been hit by Israeli airstrikes. Well, both sides have accused the other of war crimes. Israel has accused Hamas of torturing and murdering babies and children.
Guys, these are not just numbers. These are human, like you and me, guys. These are not just numbers. The way they're calling like 1,200, 950, I see that those numbers. These are people. These are families that have died, guys, just in the space of like a few days right now. These are real humans like me that are killed. It's very, very terrible, guys. They are not just numbers. They are humans. The way that I just say like it's collateral damages, but it's really serious. More than that, guys. This is really serious, guys. Either being Palestinian or being Israeli, like you guys are humans, and this war have to come to an end because it's. I feel like war are mostly pointless because they are just fighting because of the land and because what I read that the Hamas came out because of the war that they're having with Israel and Palestine. So it's basically about eradicating Palestine away from Israel, and it's getting more serious than we all like imagine or so. This is really terrible.
Children in attacks which began on Saturday. The Palestinian representative at the United Nations said Israel was planning to use starvation as a method of warfare. Well, strikes against Gaza have continued this morning. This was a blast just a couple of hours ago, which sent black smoke billowing into the sky. A huge blast there, as you can see.
Can you guys see that?
Well, this is the scene live in Gaza, and just very, very hazy background because the amount of smoke that has been released by these air missiles means it's very difficult to see in the distance. But you can see there black smoke pouring out of a broken window in a building in the foreground. Well, a Hamas spokesman says at least 30 people have been killed and hundreds wounded in overnight strikes, with residential buildings, factories and mosques among the targets hit. Now, we know that there has, of course, been a total siege, a blockade by the Israelis in Gaza. And in the last few minutes, the Pope has come out with a statement and said he's very worried by the total siege imposed on Palestinians in Gaza. Well, let's hear now from our correspondent Nick Beak with the very latest.
The Israeli city of Ashkelon has been hit by a stream of rockets overnight. Many were intercepted mid-flight by air defences. They'd been fired from inside Gaza, a few miles to the south. Nearby, Israeli forces have been seizing back control and moving into communities that Hamas had attacked. This is Kfar Aza, where soldiers say they've uncovered atrocities, including the murder of mothers and their children.
They have just jihad machine to kill everybody, without weapons, without nothing. Just normal citizens that want to take their breakfast, and that's all. And they kill them. It's an aggressive thing to see. It's very difficult to see it. But we must remember who is the enemy and what our mission. Our mission is the justice. We're in the right side, and all the world needs to be behind us.
Israel says those who did this will pay the heaviest price. And this is their latest response. The bombardment of Gaza continues. Israeli strikes hitting Palestinian communities. Israel's military released this footage showing its operations. It says it's targeting Hamas fighters.
How will you know if you're... How will you know when you're targeting Hamas? Hamas itself. Hundreds of civilians have been dead like that. They're just dying every day. You can never be certain. Whereas we are throwing missile on a complete on the state, we call Gaza state. You're just throwing missile. Like there's no way civilians are not going to die through this. Like the same civilians that they kill, that you felt bad for, you are throwing missile to Gaza. And there are also civilians there that are also going to die through your missile. So what is the fight for? What is the essence? Like, what is the end result? You want to kill Hamas or Hamas? That the same terrorists that came out from a group because of what was happening in Palestine and in Israel. They are the same group that came out because they want to stand on their own. So I'm not saying Israel is right, but the killing just have to stop. They just have to come to a suitable agreement to stop this, because if they continue in this way, a lot of people are going to die. Like Palestine are not backing out, and Israel are also not backing out. So it's a very, very serious conflict between both of them. They have to come to an agreement. That is just what is going to save lives. They're cutting water, they're cutting lights. Like, it won't stop them. It won't stop them. So we just have to come to a suitable agreement. That's just the best. Because this every news, every time you just come out, like, no matter, I don't come out and start talking, but this is getting too serious. I don't come out and start talking, well, this is getting too serious, guys, as I'm saying. A lot of people are dying every day. Like, everywhere you go now is Gaza. Everywhere you go now is Israel fighting. Like, people are really dying. And what's paining me is that they are not just numbers. They are human beings, bro. They are humans, like us. Every day, 30 people just died overnight, bro. 30 people.
Hundreds of civilians have been killed. The airstrikes have caused huge damage to homes and shops.
I lost everything. My house, my shop has been destroyed completely. Where do we go? We have become homeless.
The Israelis say Hamas has brought this upon Gaza. Israel is accused of breaking international law. Supplies of food, power and water into Gaza have been cut off. Just to the north, across the wire, Israeli troops are arriving in ever greater numbers. Senior commanders warning the next stage of their response will build up to a ground operation into Gaza.
We started the offensive from the air. Later on, we will also come from the ground. We've been controlling the area since day 2 and we are on the offensive. It will only intensify.
The resistance the Israeli troops will encounter is likely to be fierce. Hamas will be preparing to meet in advance. The prospect is of even more bloodshed in this part of the Middle East.
Well, Israel has called up 300,000 reservists to join its frontline troops. Tanks and other heavy military equipment are massing near Gaza. Some has also been deployed to the northern border with Lebanon, where there have been exchanges of gunfire across the border. Well, the UN has called for the laws of war to be upheld, which would include the release of hostages and the protection of civilians. Well, let's go live now and speak to our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucet, who is in Ashkelon in southern Israel. And Lise, just talk us through what you're seeing there in terms of Israeli preparations.
Yes, well, Ashkelon is the biggest city in the southernmost part of Israel, and we're outside of Ashkelon. And just behind you can see some of the troops in the distance, some hardware, some vehicles. This is a closed military zone now. There's been a lot more activity in this area this morning. More troops racing by in their vehicles, more artillery going out. You have a sense that this edge of the Gaza Strip, Gaza is just about 3.5 miles behind it. They seem to be on edge. There seem to be some preparations, although some of the tanks, which my colleagues had reported on earlier, a line of tanks behind this tree line, a lot of that armor has moved away. All signs of what is widely known to be Israeli preparations for a possible land incursion. We have no sense about how long that will take. They may not know, because this is an option that Israel has avoided for so long. Even Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has resisted this in the past. And as you mentioned, they have so far called up some 350,000 reservists. We saw on the main road coming down from Jerusalem, along long stretches of the road, there are cars all lined up, because people come, they get out of their cars, they go to the military recruiting centers, and they come down here to the front line. We also know, and you could just see there's a sign there for Zikim, it's a kibbutz, just very close, even closer to Gaza. There was an infiltration yesterday, we understand from sea, by a number of Hamas fighters. They were engaging. And so while Israel is saying, it's been saying since yesterday, that it believes it has largely reclaimed control of the border, they also admit they cannot seal it. There was even a penetration into Ashkelon last night by those paragliders that they used in those early hours of Saturday when this unprecedented assault first began. And even
assault.
now, with this really intense Israeli fortification all along this southern border, close to the wire with Gaza, they're still able to penetrate. And you can't see right now, but behind us on the horizon, plumes of smoke constantly rising. Gaza coming under bombardment around the clock.
And Lise, we're getting details, aren't we, of other Israeli villages and towns around the border with Gaza and what happened to them in terms of the Hamas military assault there.
Yes, here we are several days on from this extraordinary assault by Hamas, land, sea and air. So far, Israel saying it's recovered the bodies of 150 Hamas, 1,500 Hamas fighters. That number grows by the day. And they're only now being able to go into some of the kibbutzes. Yesterday, we had the report from our international editor, Jeremy Bowen, being taken there by the Israeli army into Kfar Aza, confirming the shocking reports of what happened when Hamas fighters stormed the kibbutz, pushed through the security around the kibbutz. And even yesterday, there were still corpses, rotting corpses lying on the ground, both of Hamas fighters, but also residents of that small kibbutz. So mopping up operations are continuing. And as they continue, out comes too the stories which are really striking, anger and fear, but also a resolve in the heart of so many Israelis rallying behind their forces, who are now saying whatever it takes, they will do in order to bring Hamas to its knees. And we've been reporting on the BBC around the world, particularly in Western countries, Western leaders staunchly standing up for Israel's right to defend itself. But there are voices, including the EU's foreign policy chief, including the UN's human rights chief, saying that Israel has the right to defend itself. But there are also rules of war, raising questions about this blistering siege of Gaza, a complete siege, denying the residents of Gaza food, fuel, electricity, and waters. Targeting civilians in a time of war is a war crime. But right now in Israel and in the Gaza Strip, you feel hour by hour those rules are being shattered.
Lise, thank you very much indeed. Our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, who is in southern Israel, just outside Ashkelon for us. Well, it's the hallmark of the violence in Israel and Gaza that youngsters and children have been victims. The BBC knows of many young people who are kidnapped by Hamas. The images of boys and girls and babies in their mothers' arms being led away are amongst the most harrowing of this war so far. Caroline Hawley has that story.
Imagine that you know and love these children. All are now hostages in Gaza. And the wait, the absence of news, is torture. This is 30-year-old Israeli mother Shiri on Saturday morning in the hands of her captors. Still in her arms, her 9-month-old baby Kafir and her 4-year-old Ariel. They were kidnapped from their kibbutz near the border with Gaza. Their father, her husband Yarden, was also taken.
I really hope that she's okay. I really hope that they didn't separate the kids from her. The babies that torn up from their bed 6 a.m. on Saturday morning on a holiday in Israel They were asleep in their beds. My feeling that my family is over there, that I don't know how they treat them. And I know that there is 9 months baby that without his food, without his diapers.
These are pictures of more children held hostage, shared with Danish television by their mother, Mayan. They're her 8-year-old and 15-year-old girls, and she had this message for them.
I will do anything. We will do anything to get you back. Do what your hostage takers tell you. Be strong. You are heroes. The whole country is with you and everyone else who is being held hostage. Everybody loves you.
We don't know all of the children taken hostage, but along with Ariel and Kafir, we know of 12-year-old Erez and his sister Saha, and sisters Raz and Aviv, who are 5 and 3. As Israeli airstrikes flatten buildings in Gaza, nobody knows what's happening to them, and now the lives of Palestinian children are also being taken and torn apart. Caroline Hawley, BBC News.
Yes. This is really serious, guys. Everyone is affected. Everyone is affected. Israel, Hamas have kept Israelis hostage. Israel strikes are killing a lot of Palestinian civilians. Like, everyone is just affected, and people are keep on dying every day. They just have to come to a reasonable conclusion, because if those missiles that are thrown every day by Israel to hit Gaza, who knows if the hostages are there? Who knows? So it's just terrible. It's terrible that things like this are happening, but I just feel like let's come to a reasonable conclusion, because if they continue this way, a lot of people are going to die. Hamas might have another plan to come attack Israel in a different pattern. No one knows. So by doing that, kill a lot of people. So we just have to bring this to a reasonable conclusion, because by this way that they are going about it, a lot of people are going to keep on dying every day. Every day we're going to be seeing news of people dying every day. Every single day, guys. So we have to bring this to an end as quick as possible. That is the news and updates for today, and I just keep on breaking my heart seeing something like this happening. Everyone have to speak out, because this is getting really, really serious, and everyone expected. See you guys on this video, guys.
I just want a bag, like an old lady. I'm backwoods smoking, I don't own papers, pass that 808. That don't shake her. Oh, bitch, you know I'm grinding like a pro skater. Baby mama bugging, I'm so quick to hit ignore. Buku bitches in my bed, I got scales all